You meet someone new, a handshake, a glance, maybe 3 seconds pass, and somehow, before they've said a single meaningful word, your brain has already decided whether you trust them, whether you like them, whether you'd hire them, date them, or cross the street to avoid them. That decision feels instant, it feels obvious, but the real answer is far stranger than instinct. Your brain isn't reading the person in front of you. It's running a script written millions of years before either of you were born. Think about the last time you met a stranger. Maybe at a coffee shop. Maybe in a job interview. Your eyes moved across their face. Your body registered something. And a verdict formed, quiet and fast, long before your conscious mind caught up. This isn't rudeness. It isn't shallow judgment for its own sake. It's a survival mechanism so old that it predates language itself. Here's where it gets strange. Researchers have measured exactly how fast this happens. Psychologist Alexander Todorov at Princeton ran a series of experiments where participants looked at unfamiliar faces for just 1/10 of a second. 100 milliseconds. Barely enough time to blink. And still, people formed confident judgments about trustworthiness, competence, and likability. Giving them more time to look didn't change their minds much. It only made them more certain of the snap judgment they'd already made. Why would your brain be built this way? Why trust a flash of intuition over careful thought? The answer starts hundreds of thousands of years ago on open grassland, long before cities, long before written history. Your ancestors lived in small, tightly knit groups. Survival depended on cooperation, but it also depended on detecting threat. A stranger approaching the camp could be an ally bringing news, or a danger bringing violence. There was no time for a background check. There was no time for a slow, deliberate analysis. The humans who survived were the ones who could size up a face and a posture in an instant and act on it. That pressure didn't just shape behavior, it shaped the architecture of the brain itself. Deep in your skull sits a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. It processes threat and emotional significance faster than almost any other part of your brain. When you look at a new face, your amygdala responds before your prefrontal cortex. The slower, more rational part of your mind even gets a chance to weigh in. Speed was survival. Deliberation could get you killed. So what exactly is your brain measuring in that first glance? Todorov's research identified two dominant dimensions. The first is trustworthiness. The second is dominance, essentially how much power or threat this person could represent. Faces with certain proportions, wider eyes, slightly upturned mouths, softer jawlines tend to read as trustworthy, regardless of whether the person actually is. Faces with heavier brows or more angular structure often read as dominant, again regardless of the truth underneath. Your brain isn't accessing reality, it's pattern matching against ancient templates. This is where the story takes a darker turn. Because these instant judgments don't stay locked inside your head. They leak out into the real world with consequences. In 2005, Todorov ran another experiment, this one almost unsettling in its implications. He showed participants pairs of faces, competitors in real political elections, and asked a simple question. Which face looks more competent? Participants had never seen these politicians before. They knew nothing about their policies. And yet, the face judged more competent in under 1 second predicted the actual election winner in a majority of races. Not because voters were shallow, because something ancient in the brain was quietly steering decisions that felt fully rational. Does that mean you're powerless against your own first impressions? Not entirely. Psychologist Nalini Ambady at Tufts University spent years studying what she called thin slicing, the brain's ability to extract meaningful patterns from very brief observations. In one now famous study, Ambady showed participants silent video clips of college professors teaching, just 2 seconds long, with no sound. Participants rated the professors on qualities like warmth and competence. Those ratings, formed from 2 silent seconds, closely matched evaluations given by students who had sat through an entire semester of lectures. That result should stop you. A 2-second silent clip predicted months of real experience. Your brain isn't guessing randomly in these moments. It's detecting real signals, posture, movement, micro-expressions, and compressing them into a judgment almost instantly. The system is fast, but it isn't empty. It's built on decades of pattern recognition running in the background of your entire life. But fast and accurate are not the same thing. And this is where thin slicing turns dangerous. Because the same shortcuts that once protected your ancestors from real physical threats now apply themselves to situations with far higher stakes and far less relevance. A hiring manager meeting a candidate, a juror looking at a defendant, a voter glancing at a debate stage. None of these are life or death encounters on the savannah, and yet the same ancient circuitry fires anyway, coloring decisions that shape careers, freedom, and futures. Social psychologist Solomon Asch, decades before Todorov or Ambody, uncovered something equally important. In his research on impression formation in the 1940s, Asch found that people don't build first impressions trait by trait, adding details one at a time like a checklist. Instead, the very first piece of information you learn about someone reorganizes everything that comes after it. Call someone warm before describing them as intelligent, and people imagine a different person than if you'd said intelligent and then warm. The order changes the meaning. Your brain isn't collecting data, it's building a story, and the opening line of that story shapes every sentence that follows, which means the very first few seconds with a stranger don't just create a judgment. They create a lens. Everything that person does afterward gets filtered through whatever your brain decided in that opening flash. Here's the uncomfortable part. This isn't something happening to other people, the gullible, the biased, the unaware. This is happening to you, right now, every time you meet someone new. It happened the last time you sat across from a stranger and felt an instant pull of comfort, or an instant flicker of unease for reasons you couldn't quite name. Modern life has only intensified this ancient wiring. Dating apps reduce a person to a photograph and a swipe, a decision made in less time than it takes to read this sentence. Job applications get filtered by a headshot before a resume is even opened. Social media profiles get judged by a thumbnail before a single post is read. The tenth of a second brain, built for a world of campfires and open plains, is now making decisions about love, employment, and belonging at a scale your ancestors could never have imagined. So the next time you meet someone and feel that instant, wordless verdict form in your chest, remember what's actually happening. That isn't insight. That isn't truth. That's a survival tool, tens of thousands of years old, doing exactly what it was built to do, whether or not the moment calls for it. You meet someone new, a handshake, a glance, maybe 3 seconds pass, and somehow, before they've said a single meaningful word, your brain has already decided. But now you know the real answer isn't instinct at all. It's history, quietly making up your mind before you ever do.